Welcome to the channel. This is going to be my opinion or review of um, the final episode, and I really mean it. I hope it's the final episode of this show because this show is not particularly good. It's all over the place. Some really bad acting, and even worse, directing and writing. It's not a good show. It's kind of, yeah, it should be put down. Um, this final episode, you think final episode, you're going to get closure on stuff, wrap up. Sure, if you think you're going to have another season, you might leave a couple of cliffhangers in order to generate some interest for the next season. And they definitely do this, but they don't really satisfactorily. Oh well. They don't really wrap things up in a pleasing way. It's more of a disappointment in what they've decided that they're going to do. Um, it's really going to send some Star Wars fan over the edge in what their decisions in what they've done to wrap some character arcs up. This is going to be spoiler-filled review, so if you really want to see it yourself, maybe you shouldn't watch the rest of this because I'm going to talk about some of the stuff. But here we go. So the episode starts off with Smilo Ren and Osha being on his planet, and you see the part where Osha puts the helmet on, and she's sitting there, and then suddenly she starts struggling with the helmet. It's causing some kind of convulsions or something like that. So Smilo Ren comes over to try to help her take it off, and he's having trouble getting it off her, but they do in fact get it off her. Osha then says she knows where May is and wants to go get her. So there's a scene in the cave with Osha and Smilo Ren, and they're sort of blah blah blah, but ultimately they are going to go. They're going to go together to try to rescue. I don't know if that's that's what Osha thinks she's going to do. But yeah, that's what they do. They're going to go. We jump to Squid Game Jedi's ship, and it still has May tied down, and he's kind of yakking away. And May sitting there, she's got her Palm Pilot. I mean Pip. I mean tiny robot, and of course, it can pick the locks on her restraints. So as she's kind of given Squid Game some shit, she manages to pick her lock, and then Pip becomes a stun gun, and not stun gun, but what is the where they shoot you with the wires and give you a stun? Anyways, yeah, she basically sticks it in him and she gives him a shock, and then runs away, and kind of magically knows where to go and jumps into like a little X-wing fighter craft attached to the ship. So there's the drive section and the ship that they take down to the planet, and then now there's this little fighter craft. And I'll tell you, when May puts on like the Star Warsy kind of X-wing fighter helmet, I couldn't help myself. I laughed. It just looks so ridiculous. It looks like a kid at like a Star Wars ride or something. Um, yeah, it's just ridiculous. But she takes off immediately. She of course knows how to fly the ship, and Soul Squid Game Jedi takes off after, and they sort of go through an ice field. When he's pursuing her, and he's trying to somehow, I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's supposedly going to, grab a hold of her ship. But at that point, the Badger tracker, Basil, whatever the heck his name is there, and he disables the ship, so Soul can't do that. Why he does that, No idea. Never explained. There's no good reason for it. He just does it. So May gets away, but crashes on the planet. And like one of the first episode, when OSHA crashes the prison ship, she smacks into the ground from high orbit at high speed and walks away from it. So apparently you can't get hurt if you crash in a spaceship. So we jump to Coruscant, and Green Meanie Jedi is there, and he's meeting somebody from the Senate Council who doesn't think much of the Jedis, and they go back and forth a bit about having an inquiry about the Jedi and the power and their act as a religion. So this is all in the part that will upset people who are fans of Star Wars, because it's more sort of that the Jedi are bad, and that's kind of how they're painted in this show, even though you see lots of things that they're not, but the narrative is. And it's more sympathetic towards the Sith, although they don't mention it in this meeting. But yeah, so Green Meanie says she'll have the person who killed all the Jedi. She gets called to task because they aren't keeping the council informed, but she says she'll have them very shortly in custody. So we have Squid Game on the planet. We see May and Smilo leaving to go to the planet too, because May or OSHA, yeah, it's OSHA. Got to keep these straight. OSHA magically has figured out where May is. So Squid Game turns his transponder on. Don't know why, but he did. So Green Meanie now knows where he is and is assembling her SWAT team to go do something. Not sure what she wants to do. But then we have Squid Game is in the witch's fortress thing, and you see somewhat devastated after the fire, but not that much for probably 30 some years or 20 years at least, between when the twins are kids and now they're a certain age. And so then we get into Smilo Ren is there and gets into a fight with Squid Game, and it's not actually a bad fight. It's actually held my interest. I thought, yeah, it's kind of cool. There is some stupid shit in it, um, but enjoy it I did. So, I mean, this bit here where they're floating is a bit on the weird side, but the rest of it is pretty good as lightsaber fights go. So that's probably the only part of the thing I enjoyed. Um, and then while they're fighting, the two twins meet up, and they have a fight, which I guess it would be technically kind of hard to do because it's the same actress. So it at times looks ridiculous, but at times it looks sort of realistic. Um, when the twins are fighting, but of course you know that it's the same actress doing it. So, and eventually Smilo Ren takes his helmet off, which if Squid Game is supposed to be able to read his mind or whatever, why did he take it off? He was always saying that he kept it on to only be with the Force and keep out the Jedi and yada yada yada. But he does eventually take it off at the end of the fight that you're seeing. And this is a trailer off YouTube, so I think I'm safe in showing it. But yeah, so this is probably the only part of the show that is kind of worth it. So at this point, that's the end of the trailer. But yeah, so the fight is actually pretty good. Um, it's not. It's about the only part of it that's any good. So um, yeah, okay, get rid of this part. Um, oh, come on. I don't want to see Philip DeFranco. But then after the fight of the twins up in the OSHA's room, I think it is from the other episode, May shows up and is sort of interrogating Squid Game Jedi about what happened to the mother. For some reason he loses his lightsaber. I don't know why. It must have got knocked out of his hand in the fight. But again, the crap writing, because May gets him to admit that he killed their mother, and rather than saying, well, there was a fight, it was confused, it was a battle, and during the fight I did in fact kill your mother, he just, yeah, I killed your mother. So OSHA is there and hears that, and he's trying to explain to her by talking far too much. She's picked up his lightsaber. And this is the part that is going to send the Star Wars fans over the edge, because she basically does a Darth Vader choke him to death. To death. She kills Squid Game by, he's trying to talk and she says, don't talk. And basically she stops him from talking by killing him. And with no signs of emotion or anything, she just kills him. And this is the whole thing about that the twins don't seem to have any emotion whatsoever, no sense of good or evil, except for later on they have a big cry about it, about something. But May's there and watches OSHA kill Squid Game. And then when Squid Game says, not Squid Game, but Smilo Ren says something, she ignites Squid Game's lightsaber, and it goes from blue to red. So basically, when the Sith have a lightsaber, the kyber crystals are the normal colors you typically see, but all the anger and whatever poison within a Sith person will turn the kyber crystals red, and you get a red lightsaber. And that's why Darth Vader has a red lightsaber and Kylo Ren has a red lightsaber. So now OSHA has got a red lightsaber. So now apparently she's a powerful Sith being, and this is the part that's going to upset people. And it doesn't upset me, but I think it's stupid that suddenly she is Trey powerful with nothing. Squid Game did say during his babble before she kills him that she is, another reveal, that she is not. They're not twins. They're not sisters. They're actually one person who's been split into two, which was somewhat suggested earlier in one of the episodes. And Squid Game is saying, you know how powerful somebody would have to be to be able to do that? Well, the twins, OSHA didn't split herself. Somebody else did it. So somebody else is more powerful. So how that suddenly means that OSHA is this powerful is unexplained. Doesn't make sense. Whatever. But anyways, after that, after the lightsaber turns red, the girls run off and have a big cry about it. Again, this back and forth about, well, they don't have a big cry, but they run off. And we see the SWAT team of Jedi showing up with Green Meanie Jedi, and then flashes back to the temple and OSHA trying to look like she's upset about something. So again, starts hugging her twin, and they decide to run away. So, okay, let's run away. Smilo Ren is disappearing because Green Meanie has sensed him, and there you get another answer, which could have been done earlier, but in fact, Green Meanie Jedi from sort of that is, I guess you could say, Saul's boss. In fact, she is Smilo Ren's master, and he was her Padawan. Which most people thought after they saw the big crooked scar on his back that was caused by her lightsaber whip that she used. But okay. And then you see the girls trying to escape. You see the Jedi showing up at the temple. They're searching the temple and going and setting up a perimeter. Okay. She dispatches some of them, and she see her looking over Saul's body and Smilo Ren in the background. And now she is hearing things to sort of get all the stuff that she's missed out on. She suddenly understands everything. I don't know why, but anyways. And the girls, they run to the tree, and that's when they lots of hugging and tears. And why doesn't seem to bother them that they've killed somebody now. But Smilo shows up, and um, they are told that Jedi won't allow them to sort of exist the way they are. So Osha says that she'll train with Smilo Ren. Why she agrees to do this is effing beyond me. It doesn't make any sense why she would do that. Why she would want to suddenly like, why am I suddenly going to jump to the dark side? But Smilo Ren says he can wipe Osha's, no, May's mind so she'll forget who Osha is. Again, contrivance. Really stupid. Um, they're having a big tearful hug, and Smilo Ren just moves his hand, and suddenly May is even more blank than her real life actress is. So that's it. And the Jedi posse shows up and takes May into custody. So that's pretty much the show. Well, it's not, because they go back to Coruscant, and Green Meanie is interrogating May, and May can't remember anything. So then we sort of skip to a council session or something, and basically May throws Soul under the bus and backs it over him a couple of times that he was crazy, and I've heard some people were guessing this. Well, they got it right. Soul was crazy, and he killed his team of 4, which I hadn't heard anybody suggest before, but he was responsible. He killed them all to cover him up because he was crazy, and he was attached to Osha, and he wiped out all the witches and all this stuff. So basically, he's blaming Saul, because conveniently Saul is dead, for all the problems that happened. Makes absolute. Again, if I guess the Green Meanie had been all the way through the show trying to keep stuff from the council, well, she's no worse or better off than Trinity, Jedi, who covered up originally where Saul made the mistake of killing the mother. Well, Green Meanie's just compounded it by 10 times, but that's okay, I guess. And gets May, informs May she's got a sister, but asks May's help in finding Smilo Ren. And so then they sort of jump back to the island, and there's Osha and Smilo Ren, and they're looking off into the sunset. And the final cliffhanger to just drive everybody wild is the very last shot in the episode is Green Meanie Jedi walking into the room saying, "I got to tell you something," and you get a shot of Yoda, or who I assume is Yoda, from behind. So, okay, people are going to go, well, what's that for? Why is she going to go in and telling Yoda? She calls him Master, so yeah, it's definitely Yoda, and he looks about as old as he did in the Star Wars franchises, so that doesn't make normal sense since there's supposed to be 100 years difference. You'd think he might not have gray hair then, but anyways, that's the show. So I know I maybe botched a little bit doing the play-by-play here because it'd be better if I could show you. Some other people actually will show scenes from it, but again, I'm not sure where the my rights are for that. But as I said, unsatisfying ending to it. The lightsaber fight during it is pretty good. I enjoyed it. Um, but sort of Saul getting thrown under the bus, and then OSHA suddenly becoming this big, powerful being suddenly for no apparent reason, and not necessarily giving any kind of indication. May um, getting her memory wiped with a wave of a hand, and then OSHA agreeing to basically become a Sith. Um, that makes no sense either. Like she suddenly is going, yeah, just I think I'll just become a evil person. Yeah, why not? Just sure, she did in fact choke Squid Game Jedi out, which is something that probably could have been resolved someplace other than turning to the dark side. But she's going to be, again, this is why this will drive people wild, is that it is going to be, she's basically been elevated to Darth Vader level of evil, um, or power with, other than way back in the episode where they took a sample of the blood and the M values were high. But yeah, so good reasons to bad head rubbish to this show. It's not pretty, not very good, not well acted, not certainly not well written, and the pacing can be horrible to okay. So um, yeah, I'm not sorry it's over. There was a couple of episodes, one episode that I liked, and everything else has been a disappointment. And this is a disappointment. Disappointment for an ending. Disappointment for how they've been screwing around with the powers and the Force and what's this and that, and just totally, the Jedi's are horrible. And well, I mean, they don't really say the Jedi's are horrible, but you kind of get that they bash the Jedi's at every turn that they possibly can do. So that's that's it. Um, if you've watched the other episodes, you should watch this just to finish it off. I'm not 100% sure that the show will be back, and it shouldn't be. But yeah, it's just another screwed up Disney project as far as I'm concerned. Okay, thanks.